And it's all powered by the Vincent Financial Group. Coming up this weekend, preparing for more election volatility in the market. And let's have a discussion about guaranteed income in retirement. My name is Mark Owens. As always, investment advisor Aaron Vincent is here. CFP Matthew Decker is here. How are y'all doing?
Doing great. It's good to be back.
Wonderful.
So the gentleman sitting beside you, Matt, Aaron Vincent, I felt like I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks.
It's been a while. It's been a few weeks. Yeah.
Welcome home.
Thank you. It's good to be home.
If those missed it, you were on a mission trip.
I was.
How'd it go?
It was great.
Yeah.
You know, the trip was mixed with a lot of work and a lot of helping people, and we had some fun as well. We were in Mozambique and Zimbabwe and South Africa. So we were traveling, but we helped a lot. There's a school that a group of churches that we're a part of has helped establish there. And we gave the teachers there some reprieve, a break, and we served in a couple of businesses there. You know, Mozambique is, I think it's the second poorest country on the planet as far as GDP goes. And so, you know, to do any kind of work there means you have to set up some kind of an economy, you know. So mission work includes helping establish businesses, helping establish schools. And that's what we did, a lot of work with that.
Are they welcoming to outsiders coming in?
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah, they're amazing people.
Yeah.
It's, you know, we were telling, I think, either my parents or my wife's parents about this trip, and, you know, leading up to it, we brought our kids with us. We got 3 kids, and so we brought all 3 kids with us, and they're like, Africa, it's dangerous. There's Mozambique, it's a poor country. Like, are you sure you want to bring your kids? And of course, anywhere you go, there could be danger, but the people there are amazing. We were welcomed. It was awesome.
And these are not adult kids.
No, our kids, I got 16, 13, and 11.
How'd they do?
They did great. So that was probably the best part for me. One of the best parts was not just seeing my kids survive, you know, not having Wi-Fi, not having access to all of the things that they're used to.
Yeah.
There were no Amazon deliveries for 3 weeks, you know, and so, but they didn't just survive it, and with a smile on their face, they loved it. My 16-year-old daughter, as of now, if you asked her, she's planning on going back again and maybe teaching there for a while.
I love that.
So, yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It was really great.
Kudos to you. And it's great on you and the team. But you did say before you left that you took about a week or so to vacation a little bit with the family.
Yes.
How was that?
So the mission trip was in Mozambique. That was that. But we also spent a few days in Cape Town, South Africa, which I highly recommend. Maybe my wife and I's favorite city to travel to, you know, now. It's great. It's like mountains right into the sea. It's beautiful. And so the kids love that too. We also went to Zimbabwe and did a safari. So, you know, if you're going to go to Africa, then...
He did the real life Disney African safari.
Yep.
Like he did it in real life.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Well, welcome back. I'm glad it was safe.
It was
good on you two for
great.
taking the kids.
I appreciate that.
Man, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And Matt, when Aaron showed up at Vincent Financial, were you like, hey, how are you? Welcome in. Is there something we can help you with?
Had to reintroduce ourselves. Yeah, weren't quite used to seeing him in the office, but absolutely glad to have him back. Yeah.
He's had a name tag on. Hello, my name is Aaron for the past couple of weeks. You can meet Matt. You can meet Aaron, the entire team at the Vincent Financial Group when you visit retireatlradio.com or keep this number close, 770-741-0120. We'll tell you in just a couple of minutes how you take advantage of a no-cost, no-obligation retirement roadmap from the team at the Vincent Financial Group. And, of course, you know, Aaron, you get back, and obviously we're in the middle of a very heated election cycle, and just, I mean, you often say, oh, it can't get worse. Well, unfortunately, it did.
Yes.
You know, an assassination attempt on former President Trump, just ugly. We've had, a couple of weeks to digest it. All the pundits, all the articles, all the talking heads. But what I want to know from you and from what you do for the community, how are your clients reacting to this, Matt? Are they terrified that this election cycle is just so ugly that it's going to affect the money, the market, their retirement? What are you hearing from the families that you serve?
Yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag in terms of what we're hearing. I think most people are, you know, shocked. And I guess, Aaron, you actually you fielded a few calls like
Yes.
right when you got back.
Yes.
And I guess I'm curious how those went. We haven't even really talked about it.
Right.
This is the first time we're talking about it here on the air.
No, you're exactly right. It was within a couple of days of the assassination attempt happening. And I get a call from a client, and literally it's on everyone's mind. The question is, hey, is this going to destabilize things? Are the markets going to go haywire? What should we do? So it was very interesting to me that in the wake of news like this, people are thinking, is everyone safe? Thankfully the assassination attempt wasn't successful, but, unfortunately some folks did die. And so, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happened. And it was just fascinating to me that, okay, the dust settles on those details. And then one of the first questions on the top of people's minds are, what does this mean for my savings, for my portfolio, for my retirement, for my investments? And I think what we're seeing is we're all so trained. This news headline equals what result in the markets, what result in my portfolio, what's my statement going to look like when I see it again? And so, yeah, I mean, this client basically just asked me, what does this mean? Do we need to make any changes? And yeah, the dots being connected from some news cycle like this to straight to investments was amazing. And it kind of got my wheels spinning a little bit. It got me thinking about, okay, if one person asked me this literally within days of it happening, what else is out there? Who else is having these same questions? And so I began to think, and Matt, this is something I'd love to get your take on. Let's pretend, I'm a 60-year-old and I've saved $1.5 million, and retirement's within sight for me. And something like this happens, certainly there's going to be volatility. There's going to be some changes. There's going to be extreme responses to this kind of news. And so I think one of the important things when any sort of event like this happens is, number one, okay, let's take a moment and just realize how sad and disgusting something like this is, and a moment of silence for all the victims that this happened to, and then be thankful that in this case, former President Trump didn't, get shot and killed.
Right.
But after all those details, now I start thinking about my portfolio, my investments, and I know volatility is real. I know it's here. We're in the middle of an election cycle. Campaigns are kicking off. I'm curious what you would say to somebody. How do I handle in this case, my $1.5 million when I've got retirement in sight?
Yeah. I love the question because it's a question that I think everybody should be asking. But even though this is an extraordinary situation, extraordinary set of circumstances, volatility is not extraordinary. Volatility is always around us. It's here, whether we even know it's here or not. It's lurking around the corner. It's always around. And most people that are concerned about volatility probably think about it in a negative light. Volatility is bad. I think that would be kind of the stock response of someone who's getting ready to retire. Yeah. Getting ready to retire, worked my whole life to save up this nest egg. Now I'm going to live off of it. Volatility equals bad. And I understand why that would be kind of the gut level reaction. But I think it's important to also step back and just realize that volatility itself is not necessarily a bad thing. Now, having said that, if you have all of your retirement dollars invested in the market, and let's say that you weren't working with a financial advisor, or maybe you were working with one, but they didn't necessarily keep up with you. They haven't done a good job communicating with you, updating your portfolio, checking in on life changes. If you've got the same portfolio as a 60-year-old, 5 years, in the retirement window, 5 years or so, and you've got the same portfolio you had when you were 45, 50, 55, okay, you should be concerned about volatility because you've probably got the wrong mix of underlying investments, unless your risk profile is through the roof, which if you're asking questions about volatility, that's the first sign that your portfolio is probably not aligned with you and who you are right now.
Yeah.
Because if you have been working with a financial advisor, if you had been working with someone that was checking in on you and checking in on life changes, and hey, you're getting closer to that day when you pull the ripcord and we start turning this thing into an income stream, you probably already have a plan in place for volatility, and that call never happens.
Right.
770-741-0120, talking about making the call and putting the plan together. The team at the Vincent Finance Group want to offer you that retirement roadmap. If you've saved for your retirement and you're ready to get serious to customize a plan, or maybe you just need a second set of eyes, there's nothing wrong with asking the questions. It's your life's work. That initial consultation, it's no cost, it's no obligation. 770-741-0120. Always available at retireatlradio.com. Matt, you said volatility is not a bad thing.
That's right.
Which is funny because as Aaron was just saying, man, you think of like South Africa, you think it's going to be dangerous, but it's not.
Nope.
You hear volatility and you think that's always a negative thing in the market. How is it always not a bad thing? Or how can it not be a bad thing?
Because volatility works both ways. right? You can have volatility to the downside, and you can also have volatility to the upside. In fact, the last time Trump was elected, what happened in the markets? They exploded. Okay, that's volatility to the upside. So volatility by itself, not a bad thing. But I think, Aaron, you said, what would I say to that 60-year-old who's got $1 million, $2 million, they're getting close to retirement, getting ready to pull the ripcord? I would say, number one, okay, you're concerned about volatility. I understand, because I know they're thinking volatility to the downside. No one's concerned about volatility to the upside. And I would just ask the question, well, for starters, how much principal protected dollars do you have? How much guaranteed dollars do you have? Like, let's talk about the actual mix of your retirement portfolio. How much is at risk? How much is principal protected? Do you have any guarantees? Do you have any guaranteed income streams, any pensions, any guaranteed annuity dollars? Like, let's talk about the overall picture, because yes, volatility can work against you, but if you plan properly, volatility can also work for you. And it's actually not that difficult to make it work for you. You just have to kind of sit down with someone you trust and put a plan in place.
Yeah. And then I also think, because I've heard you say this a lot, and I couldn't agree more, is not just having the plan, but how often, how regularly, how thoroughly is the plan worked out? So if we're talking about portfolio design and managing investments, setting an investment portfolio and then just forgetting it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, okay, that's probably not going to go well for you in times of volatility, because as you're mentioning, volatility brings opportunity.
Yep.
It can be rough on a portfolio if the timing's wrong, if there's no plan, but it also can be the very thing that allows you to take advantage of what's out there.
Major disruption is typically a huge period or moment of opportunity, but it's not if you're chicken with your head cut off, running around falling prey to fear or greed.
Yeah.
If you have no plan and volatility rears its ugly head, you're probably not going to make it out of that one unscathed. However, if you have guaranteed dollars, if you've got principal protected money, periods of high volatility are really where a lot of the returns in the market are actually made. And there's been tons of studies done on this by all kinds of different groups.
So you're saying that markets don't just steadily go up and to the right, little by little, month by month, quarter by quarter,
Wouldn't
year by
it be
year?
nice? Wouldn't it be nice if it was just that easy?
Yeah.
Think how easy your jobs would be.
That'd
if that
be
was the
amazing.
case.
I mean, we probably wouldn't have jobs.
It's true. We wouldn't have jobs at all.
I want to go back to something you said right there, and a discussion about having principally protected money. We hear that a lot when building portfolios. Real quick, that number is 770-741-0120. If you hear anything on this weekend show you need some clarity on, there's nothing wrong with asking the questions. It's your life's work. The team at Vincent Financial Group know that it's your life's work, and there are no dumb questions. They're here for you and to serve Metro Atlanta. 770-741-0120. RetireATLRadio.com. Talk to me like I've never heard it before. What is principally protected money, and how do I get some of that?
Yeah, so I guess we could break that down in a couple different ways, but I think we gotta slowly build up to it, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So number one, let's just talk about what is available in the spectrum of risk. Something like a super risky investment, a stock, let's just say. Theoretically, there's an unlimited upside. The stock could go to anything, unlimited upside, and also an unlimited downside, right? The stock could go to zero. So I guess it's a limited downside, but it's 100% loss. There's no principal protection in that type of investment.
Yep.
When we talk about a principal protected investment, we're talking about something that can go up in value, but it can't go down in value. And so that very simply could be a savings account. Now, if you're paying fees to your bank in your savings account, then I guess maybe it could go backwards. But I think that's a pretty easy example. A CD. Cash. A CD. These things are investment vehicles or savings vehicles, depending on what it is, that can go up in value, but they're not going to go down in value. And that's where the principal protection comes from. Now, on the flip side, the question that anyone hearing this should be asking is, well, what's the trade-off then for having something that can only go in one direction.
Yeah, it sounds too good to be true.
Right.
I can't lose anything, but I can gain things.
So, Aaron, what is the downside, or what is kind of the other side of that coin? If it can only go in one direction,
Right.
what does that mean about the underlying savings vehicle or investment that we're talking about?
Yeah, generally speaking, it's going to mean that even though you can earn returns, the upside, you used the example of the stock, basically unlimited upside. It could go as high as it can go. Whereas these principally protected investments, they're going to have some limit on how much your returns can be in a given period of time. So you are going to sacrifice those unlimited upside, but and that's where the mix comes from. I think it's where you're going with this is that we're measuring this very carefully, very thoroughly, and it's a measured risk. Okay, I'm going to give up some of the upside potential earning, and I'm going to gain protection from anything downside. Okay, well, let's measure that. Is it worth it? And those are the kind of questions we're talking about.
And if you're a 60-year-old, back to your initial kind of question, what do you tell that person who's in the retirement window, who's done a good job saving, and they're getting ready to turn those savings into, their retirement income? The closer you get to that date, for most people, the less appetite they're going to have for the unlimited upside, unlimited downside risk exposure. And the more susceptible you're going to be to massive swings in volatility.
Yep.
And in a year where we're going to have, I'll make a prediction here. This is going to be the most volatile election that we've experienced probably in our lifetimes.
It already is, right?
It already is?
In my lifetime.
Yeah, same with me, my lifetime as well. So in a year where we're going to experience the most volatile presidential election, if you are not prepared for volatility in the market and you're sitting with the majority of your dollars at 100% risk exposure, unlimited upside, unlimited downside, then I totally understand why you might be worried about volatility. And all I'm here to tell you is it doesn't have to be that way.
There's a saying that we say in our office all the time. We say it to clients a lot, and that is losing money hurts more than making money helps. Losing money hurts more than making money helps. Now, that's not a hard and fast, always true all the time, because there are certain levels, losing how much, earning how much. But generally speaking, the closer you get to retirement, losing money if you're 62 and you're planning on retiring at 63 and you lose 20% of your portfolio in a market swing, that hurts.
That could be catastrophic.
Yes, that's going to hurt more than if you got a 20% return in that year. That's great to get a 20% return. It's probably not going to change your lifestyle or make your retirement last that much longer. It's going to be nice, maybe a little cushion, a little cherry on top, but it's not going to make or break your retirement, whereas a 20% drop at that age in that situation could throw your retirement in the trash can. So losing money often hurts more than making money helps, and to plan without that principle in mind, I think is dangerous.
It's all about income preservation and growth with the help from the team at the Vincent Financial Group. 770-741-0120. Again, 770-741-0120. You've done a great job of saving. You have a nice 401k. Maybe you have a pension or an IRA. You're ready to get serious about customizing that plan, or maybe you just need a second set of eyes, ready to take advantage of a no-cost, no-obligation second opinion service. Reach out, give the team a call, 770-741-0120. So, Aaron, me and Matt talked about this a couple of weeks ago. So, Bridgewater, one of the big investment firms out there, the CEO was talking recently about picking investments, and he said they have 400 people working day and night, and they still get it wrong 40% of the time. So, if you're trying to pick stocks in retirement, can you afford? They can afford to be wrong 40% of the time. Can we afford to be wrong 40% of the time?
Wow. I think no.
Yeah.
I mean, if you came to me and said, "Hey, Aaron, I got this investment idea," and just know up front that 4 out of 10 times it's going to fall on its face and fail. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you when the other 6 out of 10 times are going to be, but they're going to happen at some point. You want to get involved? I'd be like, no, from the jump. So, and not to mention,
I might disagree.
Really?
I think I might disagree.
Let's go.
Well,
Disagree. Why?
Well, because I think this actually gets back to our conversation about volatility. I wouldn't take you up on that offer if I had to use all my money, right? If I had to use all my money, then I don't want the thing that's going to fail 40% of the time.
Yeah.
But if that thing that we're talking about gives me some kind of kicker, if we're talking about investing in life-changing technology that if it's right, I get, some kind of major windfall.
Yep.
Okay, well, I might be able to contribute some of my money towards that. But in order to be able to do that, what do I have to have?
You have to have a foundation, something else to
Exactly.
fall back to. Yeah.
In order to be able to take that kind of risk, I have to have some money somewhere
Right.
that is principally protected.
Yes.
If it's not, if every single investment I'm making is the 40% of the time I'm wrong, that sounds like bad math to me.
Absolutely.
And actually, you said something that I'd double down on. You said losing money hurts more than making money helps. And that sounds cool. It sounds kind of cute. But it's actually
Thank you.
math problem. This is a math problem.
Yeah.
This is a real life thing. This is not like a made up trope by a financial advisor.
Yes.
It's a real life thing. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you start with $100,000.
Okay.
You start with $100,000. You're going to lose 10% in year one.
Okay.
All right, you got $99,000. $90,000. I'm sorry, $90,000. You're going to gain 10% in year two. You've got $99,000. You're going to lose 10% in year three. You're down to like 88 and change. You're going to gain 10% in year four. So we've got 4 years, lost 10, made 10, lost 10, made 10. I started with 100. I end with 100, right?
No.
You end with $98,010. Losing money legitimately, mathematically, hurts more than making money helps. We're losing the same that we're making, 10%. Losing 10, making 10, but we've lost 2% over that 4-year time stretch. Legitimately, realistic. It's a real thing. This is not just like a trope.
Yeah.
You have to have principally protected money. If all of your money falls into that category, how can you not freak out about volatility in the market? Of course you're going to freak out about volatility in the market.
While you were gone, Aaron, Matt would throw these math questions and equations at me. Tears in my eyes. My ears started bleeding. Man, it was terrifying. But I've gotten better. At least I brought my calculator, my abacus here.
I saw you taking notes.
I'm ready to go now.
Abacus.
You were ready for me to throw the question to you.
I was just making my grocery list. I got to stop my Publix on the way home. Let's be honest. 770-741-0120. A lot of great information from the team at the Vincent Financial Group. Take advantage of that no cost, no obligation conversation. You're going to sit down. They're going to take a deep dive into your portfolio. Just figure out what is it that you need to retire happy, to reach your goals in retirement. How can they help get you there? 770-741-0120. Always available at retireatlradio.com. We've talked a lot about income. When we get back, let's talk about how we can build some guaranteed income in retirement. We'll get to that plus more. This is Retire ATL, and it's all powered by the Vincent Financial Group.